Hello, everyone, and welcome back, fellow dissectors. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. You're doing a great job. Right now, you probably should have your very first macOS guest set up. Pay no mind to these. These are actually the ones that I use for testing malware samples and all that. Do my own Mac malware analysis stuff on here, but this is the one we're going to be working with. This is the one you should have set up, AMOB, Mac OS guest. The name might change to, you could change it to whatever you want. I just labeled it this so I can keep track of the lab, the one we're doing this in, the one I'm presenting to you. So you should have that set. Actually, before we go in there and turn it on, because in this section, we are going to be going over all the free tools you can use to carry out malware analysis on your Mac guest, your Mac to study Mac malware. And the greatest thing is, as I said, they are all free. And I'm so excited to show you the tools to protecting your orchard. But before we dive in, I just wanted to. It's always good to double check. Yes, we are connected to the network, and this is actually how you assign it a network for your guest, whichever guest you're using. Um, and as you can see, it's a shared network, and this is our MAC address for our lab, our guest here. And then if you want to take out the network, as you would guess, you just remove it. But right now we want to leave it connected. I will go over more in detail of how to secure this guest, because some of you are probably asking, like, wait a minute, we're studying malware on here. We shouldn't have it connected to the network. And if you had that thought, good for you. If you didn't, that's okay. That's why we are doing this. So we're learning. I will go over more in detail about how, we would like secure this lab. But this is just like a little preview touching on. So this is fine for now, but we will change that. So now what you want to do is boot up your lab, boot up your guest here. Um, and if you have any trouble, sometimes I find when I'm working in UTM, sometimes I find that this just remains a black screen. If you have trouble, don't fear. You could just exit out and then shut it down, restart again. But everything should be fine. So let's sign in with our super strong password here, which is password for our lab. I know. Yeah, we really don't want to. We don't. It doesn't really matter if it's not strong for this, because as I said, as you know, we're going to be launching malware in here, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, sorry, just getting over a cold here. All right, so now what we are going to be doing is we're going to be downloading our tools. So what we want to do first is we're going to want to pull up our terminal here. So, there's various ways of how you can do it. You could go in through the application, um, or you could go into here with terminal. And actually, I'm glad that popped up like that. So, how we get this to not be like this, because as you can see, it's stuck. This is actually a troubleshooting method I discovered and figured out. We can try to do force quit, relaunch Finder, and because a lot of times, sometimes they get a little like buggy. Yeah, see, that worked. So we're good. Now we can click in. So we can go navigate to terminal through here. But first things first, I'm going to fix the system settings. I'm going to fix the scroll. Now, pause. So when you first get into your machine, if you haven't already done so, you want to kind of like configure it to the way you want. So right now, as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm trying to fix the scroll bar always to show. So you want to just kind of fix things that like are not great for you. And now let's go into terminal. Now that that's done, I got that set. We can open up our terminal here. So For those of you who aren't familiar with a terminal, this is like same thing with Linux. Linux has a terminal. Kali Linux, if you used it, has this. Um, we definitely want to be familiar with and not be scared of using our terminal. Our terminal is our friend, and going through this lab, you'll see that you get more used to it as you go along. At first, when I started, especially with the Mac, I was like, oh my God, what's the terminal? But it's actually not as scary as you might think. So, what you can do on your Mac, if this is too small for you, you can hit Command, which is near the space bar, and then do a plus if you don't already know that. But anyways, we are in our terminal. What we want to do is before we call up our free tools, our malware analysis tools, we want to kind of like set this up to our liking. For me, I'm totally fine with the way this is, but as you can see, what I did is I went into terminal, I went into settings, and if you wanted to change the color of it, you can. Right now, I just have the standard stuff, but if you want to I like homebrew, and you can like kind of modify it to the colors you want. Like the text will be green, the bolded stuff will be green, um, or you can like kind of change the background. Like maybe you kind of want a different background. You can do like a little bit steel kind of color, or iron, um, or like a blue background. So as you can see, I'm just like kind of modifying the way I want my terminal to be, and it's pretty cool that you can do that in here. So I think I'll stick with that. And actually, it'll do a little bit darker. Let's do lead, and then we'll hit. And then yeah, so that's just if you want to modify your terminal, you can do it like that. And yeah, it's pretty fun. And then the selection we'll do like eggplant. Why not, right? Um, and then exit. So if you close out of your terminal, and then if I reopen terminal, actually before we do that, let's keep let's move this over to our main dock here, and then because we're going to be using this a lot, and then we want to exit. We want to do Command Q. And actually, I forgot one thing here. Settings. We want to do homebrew. And we want to make sure it comes up general. And you have to go over here and change it to homebrew. So new window will open. Default login shell. Default, same profile, and good. So now, when we command Q on the keyboard, and then to quit out of it, and there you go. See, now you can see the changes. And we'll get a little bit closer here for you guys to see. And now, on your terminal, we are ready to download one of our first free Mac malware analysis tools, which how we'll do that. This is actually the Apple command line tools which will be installed. So how we do that or call upon it is we'll just type in strings in our terminal here, and we should get a pop-up that will appear Xcode. As you can see, it came up over here. The strings command requires the command line developer tools. Would you like to install C command line developer tools? Or yes, we do. This is the and we hit just install there, and see, as you can see, it's Apple Inc., macOS SDK, and Xcode agreement. So that's what we're downloading, the macOS SDK and Xcode. This is like what Apple developers use. And if you feel like reading through all that, you can. be my guest. But for me, I'm just gonna hit agree. Good for those who actually do read all through all that. But I don't know about you, but I want to continue along with the process here. So we just let it download. It says like 30 minutes, but it actually goes a lot faster, I found, or 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Yeah, see, so it's pretty quick. So yeah, so as you might have read through it, this is the Apple's command line tools, and which is pretty cool because we will get um, our Mac malware analysis tools and to help us analyze malware and also do reverse engineering all for free, which is awesome. And what you'll get with it is like a string decoder to call up strings, file analysis utilities, hex editors, static disassemblers and debugger, and a dynamic disassembler, all for free, which is incredible. All within our Mac OS, and all we had to do was type in a command to call upon it and install it. So, I mean, to me, when I found that out when I was learning this, that was awesome to discover. And it's really beneficial too, because I know, like, if you are familiar with Windows or if you ever looked into Windows malware analysis, you have to download Flare VM and then do all this modification. And it's kind of a long process if you ever have done that. I've had experience doing that. But for Mac, when I discovered this, I was very, very surprised and very excited because I was just like, oh, wow. Like, so literally all through this. And I found this out actually through Sentinel One has a whole macOS malware reverse engineering type of walkthrough, and that's where I discovered this from. So I will definitely include that in the PDF, and I'm actually going to include a PDF of all the details of the tools we will be downloading here today. So perfect. The software was installed. Now we're done. So now we should have our tools here. Um, I mean, if you want to test it out, we could simply, let's see here. Um, we could do actually, so that's set. We have our Apple command line tools. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to install our Objective C tools, which are all still free, and I will show you those in a minute here. So, um, for those of you who don't know about Objective C Foundation, they're an amazing, incredible organization founded by Patrick Wordle. He's an incredible security professional, macOS security researcher, um, and he's actually the one responsible for all these free tools, and that's him right over there in the corner, as you can see. Let's find there's him again when he worked at Synac. So he is an incredible. He worked for the NSA. He did work for NASA. This guy is an incredible security researcher, and he discovered actually that there's barely enough stuff for Mac OS security out there, malware, and he made this book, The Art of Mac Malware. I actually love this book. I reference it a lot. This was actually got me interested and actually inspired me to create a course like this. So yeah, definitely check if you want to read about it. This is his website, objectivec.org. Read more about it. They do a lot of great talks, conferences. But anyways, what we're here for, the juicy stuff, is the tools, which there are particular tools that we will be using possibly for throughout this course. And in the base, we're just kind of doing the basic stuff, so mostly command line stuff, but I actually just like for us to just have these things just to see. So first we're going to download is Task Explorer, which as you can see allows us to visually explore all running task processes. So knowing the processes is very important when it comes to analyzing malware. So we're going to just hit download. And do you want to allow? Yes, we'll allow that. Um, and well, I already do. You can just hit no for now, but if you want to support them, definitely go ahead and do it. And as you can see, that is there. To open Task Explorer, you need to install Rosetta. Do you want to install it? Yes, install. So now we're installing Rosetta, password, and there we go. So we're going to move Task Explorer over here as well. Actually, we can find it in our Finder here, application. I just wanted to pull up Task Explorer for you guys. Downloads, Task Explorer. And we'll hit open. And here it is. Please authenticate. All these security features, which is good. And you just put your password in and you authenticate it. And let's see. And here is Task Explorer. You can see all running tasks, which is pretty cool. And Patrick has a whole blog post all about this. So if you want to learn more about it, definitely look it up. We may possibly be using this throughout the lab, but I just kind of want to like you guys to know that these are all free tools that Patrick created for Mac users, end users, which is incredible. So we're definitely going to be using that. I'm actually going to go put this in my applications here. And so that way we have it. And I would suggest we put it to our dock here. Let's see. We'll open it and then we will move it to our dock over here just to keep all our security tools and things we're going to be using safe. And yeah, there we go. So now we're going to exit out of that. And now we are going to be downloading our next one, which will be What's Your Sign. Now, I really like What's Your Sign. This actually shows the code signing information, which is very important. And not only just the code signing, but the hashes as well. And you will see in a second as we download that. So thank you very much, Patrick, for providing this as well and creating this. We will open, we will install. And as you can see, what you do is you, so right click, and it's pretty simple to use. As you can see, sign in from info, or control click on any of the files, view this signing information. Okay, good. So we'll have to restart our Finder, finder.app. What's Your Sign is installed. Sweet. As you can see, it's free, open source, and written by a simple Mac-loving coder. So just like us. So that's awesome. And these are all the companies that support Objective-C, which is great as well. So we'll support you guys later, Patrick. Sorry about that, but we're going to carry on with our lab here. So, all right. So great job so far. You're doing good. You got the free Apple command line tools, which has all our free malware analysis tools on there, but we're also downloading additional tools just to help us further. And we will actually test What's Your Sign in a minute. Like, as you can see, we can pull up Finder, we'll do application. Let's just choose shortcuts, like, or Siri actually. Let's do control, we'll click on it, and let's do signing info. And as you can see, you can have the hash there. You can verify that it is validly signed, which is good, which means probably safe. And this is created by you can see it's created by Apple Code Signing Certification Authority, which is good. This is very good information because, as you can see, a lot of times people would put like fake apps that would have malware on there, and you would possibly see this as like unlocked or unknown, you know. So that's kind of like a little red flag there. But this is green locked, so it helps. And then you can have the hashes here, and then you can put these hashes in VirusTotal. But we'll learn more about VirusTotal in another video, another section. So great. So now we have what's your sign. Now our next one we are going to be doing is another one I like from Patrick Wardle that we'll actually be using our dynamic analysis section. So what's your sign's great for the first part of our malware analysis methodology, which is static analysis. When we first see our malware, we want to understand it or look up the hashes in VirusTotal or the malware repos. But for this one is for dynamic analysis because we're doing network monitoring. Passively looking at it and what if it's reaching out to a C2 command and control server, the malware. So we're going to do Netacqueat, and that will help us with the networking monitoring. So we're going to do, and actually it kind of like utilizes, well, let's see here. It utilizes Apple's security framework, their new security framework. So it kind of like Apple's base security comes with like XProtect, Gatekeeper, BTM. So those things, those security stuff that pops up for like your credentials and stuff, that's Apple's like base framework security. Now it's great that it comes with it, but it needs like see that's BTM. That's Gatekeeper. This is part of Apple's, built-in security, which is good. But we need, if you want more, these tools kind of take it a little bit further and help us further understand what's going on and further protects our system. Yes, we do want to open that. Netacqueat. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Definitely, Patrick, let me know. But yes, Netacqueat, our network monitoring tool. Right now, we obviously we don't have much going on, so we're kind of just gonna exit out of that for now. But I want to actually put that what's your sign in applications, and then Netacqueat, and I want to put that in over here as well. We're going to exit out of that. We'll put Netacqueat in applications. All right, good. Just to make sure we have all our applications there. Oh, all right. Actually, you don't want the installer in there, so we're going to put the installer into the trash there. We already have what's your sign, so that's good. All right, so now we got Netacqueat. That's the Objective-C tools we're using. And now we're going to use the Objective-C tool command line utilities, which is also for, as you can see, system monitoring and malware analysis, which will be the first one we're going to be doing is process monitor. So now we're going to pull up our terminal. Actually, before we do this, if you read through it, you go here and you read through it, you can see the prerequisites. We have to make sure that our terminal app has full disk access. So how you do that is we can just leave terminal open, that's fine. We're going to go here, we're going to go to system settings, and this is how you would give it full terminal app or anything if you want full disk access. But we're going to do privacy and security. We're going to go to full disk access, which is right here. And then we're going to, as you can see, nothing's there. We're going to password, modify system settings, and we're going to do terminal app, which will be in utilities. We'll go to terminal, and then we're going to hit open. Terminal will not have full disk access until it is quit. Yes, so we'll quit and reopen it. And now it has full disk access. But we're going to do Command Q because we want our terminal to be the one we designed it. And there we go. Now it has full disk access. Perfect. So we hit the first prerequisite. Open the system preferences application, navigate to security and privacy, which we did. And now what we want to do is we want to run this. So we want to do sudo. So basically sudo, because as you can see, sudo allows us to run, if something's not running on our normal regular user, which we are right now, user mode, you can tell through this sign here. What we want to do is if something's not letting us run it as a regular user, we want to do it as sudo. Well, first I'll show you that. Process monitor, in process monitor dot app slash contents slash MacOS slash process monitor. Now, if we run it like this, we're going to get no such file or directory. We're going to get a problem. Actually, this I actually discovered myself. I got that error because we're actually in, not only we're not sudo, but we're also in the wrong area where it is. So as you can see, process monitor is let's see here. Process monitor is applications. We're actually going to have to find process monitor. So we're going to have to hit download. Now we have it. Now, if we try running that again, you can just hit up on your keyboard here to call it up again. We'll still get it because it's still not seeing it. Now, at first I was like, when I didn't understand, I was like, what? And then part of troubleshooting, you know, even if you get frustrated, you still like take a breath, go for a walk, and then come back to it. Because what I realized when I had like a fresh mind on me with a little bit more coffee, you'll see it in Finder. See, it's in downloads, but our terminal doesn't see it. So what we need to do in order for it to see it is, what I did is you can either send it to desktop or applications. I'll just probably send it to applications. So now what we do is we go to terminal, and we actually first need to go into our applications directory. So what we'll do is we'll do cd and we'll hit slash applications. Now we're in our applications directory. So now we can call up our process monitor. We still might get an error because it'll ask for sudo. Oh, actually, never mind. The caller is not running in root. So now that's another prerequisite. So we'll have to run it in root. So we'll just do sudo. Actually, what you do is you do up, and then we'll go over here, and we just type in sudo, and now we should be able to run it without an error. Actually, I'm going to do -help because then otherwise it'll spit out a whole bunch of stuff. So we'll just do -h, and we'll do our password. So our password is password. And as you can see, we called up process monitor. And these are like these are like our options if we want to like in options on how to display the information we want. So for instance, if we want like our processes, first I'll just do it kind of like a regular call for process monitor. I'll show you what a regular call looks like. And as you can see, it'll start, to trigger, we'll like pull up Messenger. As you can see, it's already pulling up. So we'll do Control C to quit it. So as you can see, that's not really a pretty sight, right? You can see the events, the processes, but in order for us to be fixed, as you or those of you who said probably want to do pretty option, then you're right. So we'll do that same kind of call, sudo process monitor.app contents macOS, and then we'll do pretty, and look, and then we'll hit Control C quick because we don't want a whole bunch of. But as you can see, it's a lot more easier to read of processing. You can see the event, the process. And if you want to learn more about process, the information is in this post here that Patrick has. I just love it. It's well written, well explained. I was able to follow it easy. And if you ever come into any issues, probably the most key thing is as you learn from other fundamentals of IT, cybersecurity, tech in general, any case in life too. Just take your time, breathe, and you kind of have to play with it. You kind of have to figure it out. Like it took me some figuring out to figure out why it wasn't running, and I realized I wasn't in the right directory. So a lot of times in the terminal, you just kind of have to be in the right directory. And so, for instance, now you're wondering, okay, we're in the applications directory, so how do we get out of that? So what you do is you do cd, and then we'll go to our regular directory here, regular user. There we go. See, now we're in and we're good. So that was process monitor. Now what we want to do is, if I apologize if I'm talking fast or going through this fast. Definitely take the pace at what you're going with. I kind of just wanted to get it all in one video for this because we're all just doing this tool. So process monitor. Now the next one we have is file monitor. All these ones, process monitor, file monitor, and DNS monitor. You'll see DNS monitor. These are all for our dynamic analysis once we get to that stage of malware analysis. But right now we're just kind of getting the tools. So now we want to do file monitor. So it's the same kind of similar process as we did with process monitor. So now we're going to hit download, and not right now, but we'll definitely do it later, Patrick. Now we're going to hit download, and we should have file monitor there. I mean, we can pull it up too if you want to see. Open, and see, it'll give us so we already checked that full disk access from terminal.app, run the file monitor's binary. So the same thing what we did with process monitor, now we're going to do with file monitor. But first we want to make sure that, like process monitor, we want to make sure that file monitor is in. We want to make sure we're able to call it up, because as you can see in terminal, we can't call up the downloads, but we can do it with application. Or like if you regularly put it in, you won't be able to call up. So we'll do kind of like the same thing with process monitor, except now we'll do file monitor. So we're going to do cd. I mean, you don't have to put it in applications. Like you can put it in desktop or anything. And now if we I wanted to show you, I should have showed you before, we can hit ls, which shows us the list of our directories in our regular, on our desktop, our macOS machine, virtual machine. So these are all the directories listed. And I was always wondering why downloads or applications isn't on there. So in order to get to those, hey, actually downloads is on there. So there's downloads, but not applications. But I mean, if if you want, you can just move it to applications. That's totally fine as well. I like moving it to applications so that way I know they're all in there, but I might just move it to desktop as well. It'll just show up on our desktop, but that's fine. So that's how you get to our files. And there's a lot of other things you can do too, like you can add new files and stuff, but right now we're just gonna leave it like this. But yeah, as you also might notice that Linux and macOS kind of share that same kind of like these commands you can also use in Linux too, if you're familiar with Linux terminal. But anyways, let's call up our file. We gotta do cd applications, and now we're in our applications directory. Now we want to call up our file of the file binary. So I believe it's file monitor.app contents macOS file monitor. Okay, so let's hit it off over here. So we'll do file monitor.app / contents / macOS / file monitor. We'll call it up and we have to run it as root. I just, force a habit to just do it regularly. And my bad, my mistake. So we'll do sudo file monitor contents and our safely secure password. There we go. Oh, now we'll do Control C because we don't want all that. And now, just like process monitor, as you can see, as we did it regularly, it comes out like that. So if we want to make it a little bit, these are kind of the options we have here. Is pretty and all that. So let's kind of see how it's like when we hit. So we can just do up arrow, and then we'll do dash pretty. And now look, Control C, and this is, oh boy, what am I doing here? Now we want to go up. Want to scroll up here, and we can see now that it's dynamically monitoring the files. Ooh, a lot to go through. Actually, you know what? If you ever get a mess like this in your terminal, you can actually just hit clear, and now we can do and it will save your command, and now we can do that. And we'll just hit Control C, and let's see here if we can get our file monitor. Or actually, better yet, we can just do terminal. We can just do shell, new window. It's the default color, but that's totally fine. We can just do, yeah, it's just our default monitor, but that's fine. You saw that it worked, so that's all right. So that's good. It worked. So as you can see, it's reading our files, file monitoring. All right, perfect. So that's file monitor. The next one we're going to do is we're going to do our, we're going to hit clear here. The next one is we're going to do the DNS monitor. Now, just like file monitor and process monitor, we're going to hit download. And not right now, but later. And now it's running. So you follow along with the steps here that he has. Now see, he moves DNS monitor into applications. So we're going to do that. Let's file monitor. We can close out of this. So now we're going to pull up our DNS monitor, open. So now we want to copy two applications. All right, so downloads, we want to control, we want to copy, and then we're going to put it in here. Actually, Control V, or Actually, Command V. Is that what it did? All right, let's see if it's in here. It is, yay. All right, so now we have DNS monitor. So we do it in applications. Now we call up the binary, which is dnsmonitor.app. Let's do it here. DNS. So we're still in application, so that's good. So let's do sudo DNS monitor app /contents /MacOS DNS monitor. DNS monitor. I'm going to first do system settings. Okay, so try to load. So this is when we go to open system settings, and then we're going to hit allow. System software application DNS monitor was blocked from loading, and we want to hit allow because we are in privacy and security, and we want to hit allowed, and we'll do password, modify settings, and there we go. DNS monitor would like to add DNS proxy configurations. That is fine, allowed. And now the DNS monitor is set. And actually, we're going to hit Control C. Actually, no, we want to. So there we go. Now DNS monitor. Now you have DNS monitor set. See, there's a lot of options he provides as we go through this. You hit OK. DNS monitor. No. To terminate DNS, Control C. This will trigger a prompt. And there you go. So that's DNS monitor. That's file monitor, process monitor, and DNS monitor. We have them all here. So that's pretty cool. All right, so now that we have all those, there's actually one more tool. Everyone take a water break. You're doing great. I'm going to actually drink water out of mine. And now let's do our last tool here, which I like, is suspicious package. Now I got that from one of Patrick's blog posts here. And by the way, if you want to keep up to date with the latest Mac OS threats, anything Apple related, information on malware analysis to improve your game, I highly suggest his Objective-C's blog here, Patrick's blog here. So the Mac Malware of 2023, this one I really love, and this is where I got the tool that they use, which is suspicious package, which helps you, like, as you notice with Apple's files, you see like a .pkg or .dmg. This one looks at the .pkgs, which is very helpful. As you can see, the installer packages, you get to inspect those installer packages because sometimes a lot of hidden malicious content can be in there. So we're going to do suspicious package. We're going to hit download, and we'll just hit download here. We're going to hit allow, and we're also going to get that tool there as well. And now it's a .dmg, as you can see. So we're going to move it over to applications, and let's see if in our applications here, we'll exit out of there, and in our applications we should have it. There's suspicious package, and we'll hit open, and as you can see, now we have our suspicious package. So we can look at installer packages, and if you want to read up more, definitely feel free to. I know Objective-C will have more, how they use it, and this website as well, motion.com. So yeah, so great job, everyone. You downloaded all the tools successfully. If you have any issues, definitely please feel free to reach out to me. I again, I am going to provide a PDF of all these tools and cover more detail in there. And yeah, doing a great job so far. I would say too, if if you want to change your instead of like, if you like looking at that, that's fine. But if you want to change that to your background, that's fine. Um, actually, um, if you want, you can also get some free pictures too. I know, like for me, let's see, digital Apple. Let's do some like, you can get like some cool pictures here of your background. That one's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, so you can do some like, get some cool images for your wallpaper as well. Like for instance, let's do this one. We'll do control click. We'll do save image to downloads, save image as. We'll just do app pick one. We'll save it to our desktop. Save, then digital Apple offensive security, kind of like the offensive security hacking kind of look there. Oh, that one's cool. That one's good for like malware analysis. I'm not sure if it'll come out good though. There's a really cool one I saw on here. But anyways, well, let's just do that one. That one's pretty cool too. We'll do save image as. We'll call this app pick 2. And we'll do desktop. Perfect. And then we can, yep, as you can see, they're over here. And that's actually suspicious package installer. So what you want to do is we can just choose which one for our wallpaper. We'll do system settings. You can go to wallpaper. That way our lab has a, we'll do add photo, choose. Let's go to desktop. We'll do this one and choose. And there we go. That's a little bit blurry, but you get the point. You can change it to whichever way you like. I will actually probably do this one. That one's good too. Still a little bit blurry, so I probably get another better one. But yeah, so great job, everyone. You did an awesome job. We have all our tools now. I would say rearrange this, like take some of the stuff that you don't need off of the desktop. You can also add activity monitor as well here. Not that it's, be super helpful, but it would help you with troubleshooting. We'll go to Finder. We'll actually go to Applications, and we'll go to Utilities, Utilities section, and then you can do Activity Monitor. And I kind of like that as well. We can put on our dock over here. We'll put this over here as well, suspicious package. So that way we can have our dock all set. If you want to remove something from your dock, like messages or mail, you can go to Control C, Options, Remove from Dock. Control C, Mail, Options, Remove from Dock. See mail options, remove from dock. So yeah, you can just, change all this. We don't need Apple TV there. you just remove all the stuff that you don't need. So that way we have what we need here. And yeah, so that is it for our lab of downloading our tools for our orchard here to protect our apple orchard here. Great job going through all that. You actually learned a lot about the terminal. So hats off to you. And I am looking forward to seeing you in the next section where we will be going into how to find our samples, our Mac malware samples to analyze. So great job. Good job. Take a nice little break after this video. I know it was a little bit longer, but great job. Thank you for going through that with me, and I'll see you in the next section. All right. Have a good one. All right. See you in the next section.